In my long list of videos that I want to make, there's an entire section about how I would cast specific all-returnee seasons of Drag Race in relation to different returnee formats of Survivor. Think heroes versus villains, second chances, game changers, and however the hell they named that one season they made specifically so that Boston Rob can finally get a win. As I have been watching more and more Survivor content in the past 2 years, I have also found some new channels here that I like. About a month ago, a channel named The Moranian Review, I think that's how it's pronounced, made a video titled Casting Jeff Probst's Nightmare Survivor Season. See guys, it's not hard to give credit when you take ideas from other people. It shouldn't be hard when you take entire information from a specific video and then claim it as your own, and then try to villainize the person that asked for credit. Oh, but what do I know? Well, what I do know is that this concept of a show having a cast that's had beef with the show or with its host had me in stitches. So that's what we're doing today. Casting a season of Drag Race with queens that have had beef with either the show or RuPaul himself, though you'll see that the levels of problems vary to the point where they're not really problems even. Since Drag Race seasons usually have between 10 and 15 queens, my initial idea is to have one queen from each season be here, but as you can already assume, some seasons have more than one queen that have had spats with the show, and some, to my knowledge, have none really serious ones. Starting with season 1, the only queen that I chose was Tammy Brown. Firstly, she stood up to RuPaul himself during the first season's reunion, and then she completely talked back to the judges on All Stars 1. She probably is not much of an annoyance to Ru or the show as a couple of other queens on this list, but hey, Tammy was the first, and she's an easy person to start with. Chanel and Akasha were also in the running, but Tammy is just that bit of extra because of her no fucks given attitude. Also, and this is a question for all of the people from Balkan that watch this, da li Tammy ovdje liči na baby doll malo ili se meni samo čini? Next, season 2 has maybe the most obvious entry on this list, with the winner, Tyra Sanchez. Tyra, in the past couple of years, has spoken poorly of the show, but more so on the show's fans that, let's be real, are a result of the way that the show presents some of its queens. It probably does not help her case the fact that she insinuated that she was going to bomb DragCon. I mean, okay, in her defense, she never said that she was actually going to do it, but the countdown and the name of her single or something, what was it? I don't know. It made it all seem a little iffy. Season 3 has a plethora of queens that could easily be part of this cast, so they're getting 2 spots on this list. Mimi on first, India Fiera as of late, Venus Delight even. Speaking poorly of the show could get them on the list, but they're just not that strong of factors in the Drag Race canon, especially next to some of the other queens that I'm going to talk about. Firstly, I considered Manila here, mostly because of her bad dress from All Stars 4. Not only did her post with this dress become the most drag-related post on Instagram, it also thankfully made people see for the millionth time just how misogynistic the show can be. And before you all try to twist my words for using the term misogynistic, some trans men also menstruate, as do some non-binary people. The point is, Manila showed us that RuPaul, and for some reason many gay men, are scared of vaginas and what they do and feel the need to make them seem gross. However, why I did not pick Manila to be on the list is just for personal reasons. I don't need Manila, the Siri Fields of Drag Race, to win on her 4th attempt. Yeah, no. However, a queen that I don't even think still does drag, but again, fantasy guys, we're talking about the characters that they were on the show, let's remember that, could be on this season is Carmen Carrera. You want to talk about RuPaul / Drag Race villainizing women? Look no further than what they did to Carmen. Carmen stood up to the show's and the culture's overt transphobic characteristics, and in turn, she was ostracized from the Drag Race family, at least by the show. Obviously, the possibility of Carmen competing again on Drag Race is close to none, but that's exactly why she's perfect for the RuPaul's Nightmare Drag Race season. Her fellow Heather Delta is also on this list. Now, I don't know the full story, but basically, Delta used to do Ru's hair for 3 or 4 seasons of the show, and then something happened, so she does not work there anymore. The show was nominated for an Emmy relating to makeup and hair or whatever when Delta was doing that, but Delta did not receive that nomination, it was somebody else. Listen, I know only the surface level info, but even from that, I can gather that Delta is not in the show's good graces. So yeah, she's here. Season 4 also gets 2 entries on this list, and I cannot tell which is more obvious, so let's just do them alphabetically. The first is Fifi O'Hara. Calm down, children. I'm talking about the drag character, not Jeremy, the person, since I know some of y'all are already commenting nonsense down there. And I'm gonna let you do it, of course. Freedom of speech and all that. But I will ask, did you also have the same energy when I said Tyra Sanchez and not James? I know you didn't, so again, calm down and let's move on. We all know why Fifi's here, and we also know that she was mistreated on All Stars 2. And we also know that the story producers pushed her heavily on both of her seasons to be a little more villainous. And we know now not to judge her negatively because she was just doing what the producers were telling her to do. Right? I hope we're all on the same page here. The other queen is, of course, Willem. Willem has told like 10 different stories about why he was disqualified from the show, with his reasons behind it changing depending on if he wants to look like a rebel or a savior, but that's not what we're here to analyze. Willem is obviously here because, and again, he was the first queen ever to be disqualified on the show, and he hasn't had the nicest things to say about RuPaul or the show itself. He almost always is right when he's criticizing the show, but at times it does feel like the pot is calling the kettle black. Season 5. Yeah, I have no idea if any of the queens have full-on gone against Ru or the show, or if Ru just personally does not like any of them. Truly, nobody's story-wise important to the show comes to mind from Season 5, so if you know anything that I missed out on, please do share that in the comments. And just to get this out of the way, the same goes for Season 8. For that season, I did think about putting Layla McQueen on here, because Ru fully did not know her name during the reunion, but she just wasn't an important factor on that season. Acid Betty I also considered because she allegedly told RuPaul that it made no sense for him to judge the girls on their makeup skills when he did not do his own makeup, which is valid. However, this was never confirmed or is in the canon of the show, and we already have someone in Tammy who went against the judges not once but twice, who also judged Michelle on her makeup skills and her no knowledge of fashion. So Betty, let's keep her for a more Season 3-esque returnee season. Season 6 provides us with a couple of options, but I only chose one. Adore Delano is first, obviously, because she left the show on All Stars 2 and has since talked about how poorly the show treats its contestants. But she was such a strong favorite of Ru's and the show's on Season 6. Plus, she brought the kiddies, her fans, to the show. So I just don't think that she would ever be anything but liked by the show. Also, I did choose this pick of her specifically because of the Spice Girls shirt she has on. Mandela Creme was another contender because she also left the show, but unlike Adore, she left it because she was tired of the show. She figuratively gave the show a middle finger, knowing that she was 100% going to win the season. She said, yeah, I don't need all of this. I've already won. And she left, giving us also maybe the most iconic moment on Drag Race. So, whom did I choose for this cast? Courtney Act. Why? Well, because RuPaul blocked her on Twitter. Why did he do it? I have no idea. Season 7, obviously, it's Pearl. If you've even remotely been involved with the Drag Race community in the past 2 years, you would have heard the stories Pearl has shared from the set, that other queens confirmed too about the way that Ru treats the girls as simply her pawns. Of course, some queens have defended Ru's behavior, but it's very clear that Pearl does not like the show, and Pearl has also revealed that the show does not like her either. So it's a win-win situation for this video. I have made 2 picks from Season 9's cast to be on here. The first one is Peppermint. Now, you might be like, why? Peppermint is the beacon of light. Her Golden Globes shine positivity no matter where she is. Why would the show have a problem with that? Well, I'm just going to show you this screenshot. Oh, you still don't know why? Well, let's look at the clip.
Did you see that article from Instinct magazine?
Oh, the fracking?
No, not that.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Technically, it was Bob who mentioned the fracking, but Peppermint made it so much funnier with her just randomly throwing that X with her fingers. The second person, let's see another video for her too.
Oh, look, is that
Yeah, Nina Bonina Brown. Ru does not even know her name. Now, you might be like, but you did not pick Layla McQueen and Ru did not know her name too. Yeah, that's true, fully, but Nina is a much bigger factor in Season 9, having eliminated 2 queens of that season and having 1 Maxi Challenge win under her belt. Plus, since her season, Nina hasn't been the kindest towards the show, frequently criticizing the way that it treats the contestants and the edits that it gives them. Next, for Season 10, you know who it's gonna be. It's the Vixen. The Vixen came onto the show to fight the stereotypical edit that many black queens were given on the show. And then the show was like, haha, fuck you, and gave her that exact same edit. Okay, well, that wasn't the case at first. When Aquaria tried to start shit with the Vixen, she was shown as being in the right, she being the Vixen here. Obviously, this had to do more with Aquaria's story, in order to show her growth in the season, so the Vixen had to be shown as right and as good, essentially, we can say good, to humble Aquaria. But when Eureka came after her, yeah, her edit changed in the matter of 1 episode of Untucked. Eureka's constant crying in Untucked, which was confirmed by many Season 10 girls, was used to make the Vixen seem like she hurt her. Eureka's constant not following the rules of production and in general stepping on others' toes, also confirmed by many Season 10 girls, was used to make it seem like only the Vixen was annoyed by it, and so on and so forth. The pinnacle of the Vixen's experience on Drag Race came with her having to walk out on the reunion and not return, and then, of course, to be completely villainized by the show, by RuPaul himself, by some of the contestants, and, of course, the granddaddy of them all, the fandom. My choice for Season 11 might surprise you, as I went with my good friend Ariel Versace. Ariel is kind of in the lower tier of the "this queen talked back at Ru" queens, and she also wasn't the most important factor in Season 11, but what she said, not only do I 100% agree with, but also we know that Ru 100% does not agree with. If you maybe recall, in Season 11, I believe it was episode 2, when Ru asked the team that Ariel was in if they found Silky a big threat because she had a lot of personality, Ariel responded by saying something along the lines of, well, Ru, there's a difference between having a personality and just being loud and obnoxious. She's right. Why are you booing her? But of course, the show made it seem like she was just some ignorant, personality-less child. So I think she's a perfect fit for the list. And lastly, Season 12. You know. So this is the cast that I went with. Ariel Versace, Carmen Carrera, Courtney Act, Delta Work, Nina Bonina Brown, Pearl, Peppermint, Fifi O'Hara, Sherry Pie, Tammy Brown, The Vixen, Tyra Sanchez, and Willem. A lot of P's and T's. Interesting. I don't know. Just for fun, who do you all think would win the season out of these contestants? I mean, the smartest bet would be to say Tyra, as she's the only winner here. But I don't know. I'd also put my money on Courtney or even Fifi. And that's it. That's the video. Honestly, doing these fantasy castings is so fun. I don't know if it's already too late for me to make a video on how horrendous episode 8 of season 13 was, so I might do it, even though I have a feeling that Snatch Game is going to be even worse. But hey, let's hope for the best and say that it won't be bad and that episode 8, along with the first 3 episodes of this season, and most other episode of season 13 were just blunders. They're just blunders, guys, and that's going to change. It's going to get better. Thank you for watching.